And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. As the banner says, please don't forget to like, comment on, and share the stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. And if you wouldn't mind, please hit that bell icon. You'll be notified of any new content as and when it's added to the channel. As always, we thank you very much indeed for your support. And talking of support, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we would like to endorse as well. The Iron Supporting Food Bank charity, which operates in the Newham Borough area, which is obviously the London borough in which West Ham United Football Club reside. They're doing a lot of good work in the community to try and put some food on the plates of needy families who are struggling with this cost of living crisis. So if you would be so kind, I will put it in the live chat momentarily for you to jump on. But there is the Just Giving link. There is no donation that is too small. John would be more than happy to take whatever of your hard-earned cash you can take and give to, like I say, some really worthwhile cause, isn't it, Duke?
It is. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting the guys firsthand yet. I've walked past. I've dropped some cash in when I went to games last season. I've obviously met John via I think it was Jake's chat over on West Ham Unofficial when he did a video not so long ago, and we were present for that. So I got to speak to him then. It really is a worthwhile cause, in this day and age. There are some that are out there that are a lot more fortunate than others with regards to being able to, clothe and feed their families. I consider myself to be very lucky in that front. There are others out there that could do a hell of a lot more to help. They'll be the same ones that scream for our help on TV when Comic Relief or other days like that come around. The ones I'm talking about, the ones that don't pay their taxes in this country allegedly, and thus forth. The charity. I can't say for certain that these certain singers and actors don't pay a certain amount of taxes that they should be, but
getting a bit political here.
I know that certain companies certainly do not. So that being said, it comes down to us to help our own. So if you do get the opportunity, guys, if when you go to the ground when we're at home, or even via clicking the link, please help out. Like Rob says and has done on many predictable opening gambits of his opening statements for these shows. He manages to, speaking of support, and then he goes in. It's the same stuff every time. It's not. He's a bit like Lee Evans when Lee Evans did the 3 or 4 tours in 3 or 4 years consecutively. If you saw the first year, you knew what the fourth year was going to be. Rob's very much the same.
Yeah. That's the only bit that tends to stay the same. The rest tends to sort of follow a very different.
We just make up as we go along.
The reason I do it because I know that people sort of like when they watch it latterly, they press play. That's the first bit they see. If they bugger off after 2 minutes, at least I've got that out.
We've done our bit, yeah. No, like you say though, if people can drop off, when they go to the ground, some tins of beans or whatever. I think from what John said over on Jake's channel, as I say before. I think there's something like 33,000 tons of food or something, some ridiculous number like that they've already sent out to those places and people that need the help. So, if we can continue pushing it via our channel, and it keeps people aware and they do help out. Fantastic.
Cool. Right, so Duke, the reason I've got you here at this very early hour, it has to be said, is to discuss.
Actually, I know why we're here at this early hour, and if I may, I know we just come back from walking the dead of a dare.
You might have heard her.
The devil dog. Yeah. Just want to wish you a happy 20th anniversary. It's 20th, isn't it?
Yes.
But you could have got out in this for murder, Rob, to be fair, and she's a spud, so people would have forgiven you. But happy anniversary from me, Joe. And I'm going to guess that the 4 people in the chat and those that watch it latterly will also wish you a happy anniversary, which is why we're so live, isn't it, Rob? Because you're you're popping out. That's why we're so early in life, is because you're popping out uptown to see a fantastic show. Those of you watching who haven't seen Come From Away, go see it. It's brilliant. Me and my missus love it. Rob's going to see it today. I can't wait to lyrical enough about it. But congratulations, my mate.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So back to where we were before we often go off a tangent, don't we?
We don't.
The UEFA Europa Conference League playoff second leg against Vyborg at the Energi Viborg Arena. We have a 3-1 aggregate lead from the first leg. Now, what are your thoughts about this, Duke? I'm kind of torn on how I feel about this.
Yeah. For me, I'm very much
Cheers,
go get it done. Do you know what I mean? Go get it done. Regardless of now what happens. Listen, things aren't pretty at the club right now. We know this.
No.
There are some. I'm going to go with underlying issues, Rob. It's not football related anymore. It has to be underlying issues. There has to be a problem somewhere down the line with all of this. Hey, hello, stranger. Not seen you in the chat for a while. Yeah, there has to be something. Oh, Mr. Mark, our assistant manager, not assistant manager. His big orange truck's just going past my pub. Says Warburton's on the side. I'm guessing he's obviously doing his bread delivery this morning. Sorry, little bit of fun there, a little bit of fun. Yeah, well, but yeah, just there's something going on, mate. There's something underlying. We've got some serious issues going on at the club at the minute. I think Gonzo touched on something just before we came live. I had a quick look at
Cheers, Kieran.
His video, and he says about Bobby Robson during the 1990 World Cup having a clear the air.
Yeah.
Logan, she's round there. A clear the air meeting, and something similar could benefit us right now, and I really do think that we need to, because it's true in what he said. You know, the likes of Flynn Downs and Harrison Ashby are not going to come forward and turn around and say, "Well, look, boss, I think you're fucking wrong. You're a knob," and all the rest of it, without being given the opportunity of a no-brainer. Give me a second, mate. Carry on.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah,
so I have a child running around my pub. He's running around in his. So I'm going to punch him in a minute.
Is this a random child or one of your offspring?
No, it's my one. Oh. It's one of mine. It won't be the bigger one. The bigger one's broken her toe.
I was going to ask why a random child might have been wandering around. I mean, sort of like, do you take in all the waifs and strays in Lewisham?
Hang on, Rob.
No, that's fine, mate. No problem. I'll fill in the void by just rambling incoherently, and he's back. There you go. I got away with it. We can edit it out.
Shocking behaviour. Carry on. I'm back.
No, that's fine. You were talking about Gonzo's video.
Yeah, something needs to happen, Rob. Something needs to happen. Be it today before they fly out, be it, or even tomorrow morning before they fly out, be it before the game against Villa on Sunday. Something needs to happen, and as Happy says there, something needs to click again soon. It's the longer this goes on, the more of a concern it's going to be. I said it the other day, and I stand by my comment the other day of Declan Rice's comments after the Brighton game about it's not nice to hear the boos. Well, we pay our money, and in this day and age, and at this time that we were talking about not so long ago with regards to the cost of living crisis and the fact that some people can't afford to feed their kids, there are those of us that are spending our well-earned, hard-earned cash. And listen, I'm not saying that those that can't afford to feed their kids are going to games and using 50, 60 quid that they can feed their kids for a week to go watch West Ham. I'm not saying that's what's happening. No. But we're paying our hard-earned money. We're entitled to our own opinions. And my opinion is that Declan Rice was a bit of a dick for coming out and saying we don't like hearing the boos. Well, we don't like watching a pile of shit on the football pitch. Which is basically for the first 3 games of the season. I say 3 games, we had some shit luck against Forest. But even against Vyborg, it wasn't great football, Rob. And we're entitled to have our opinions. We're entitled to boo. We're entitled to voice that we're feeling let down by certain players on that pitch. And Declan Rice is one of them.
Can
So
I ask a question?
if it's anything to do with what I saw go out earlier, I can quite happily answer that. But go on.
No. I was going to say, because I know what you're saying about the boos. Have you ever booed your own team? Because I'll be honest with you, I never have. I just, my opinion is, I'm like, if I've seen something that's particularly bad, I'll just stay quiet.
No, I'll be honest, I have booed. There was a game I went to, I think it was a half time. I booed quite loudly with probably about 50,000 other fans that booed quite loudly, to be honest with you. And listen, I agree with the boos? Do I disagree with the boos? It doesn't matter. That's people's way of voicing disapproval in a point where if I stood there and called you out for being an effing C, shall we say, that I'm going to have someone in a... No, but not necessarily you, but a player on the pitch. It might well be that I end up feeling the firm fist around the back of my neck and grabbing hold of the scruff of my shirt of a steward, removing me from the pitch because I'm having a tirade of swear words and abuse aimed at certain players on the pitch. I can be removed from that. Whereas if I boo, I can still get my disapproval across without the chance of me being removed from the stadium. So, it's a difficult one. I can see, you're right, it doesn't. But then our morale is shit, Happy, by watching the crap on the pitch that we're having to put up with at the minute. Players like Declan Rice, Jared Bowen. Sorry to say it, Happy, and I'm kind of glad you're going because I'm going to move on to Manuel Lanzini. These players are not playing anywhere near their potential, what they can do, what we've seen. So they have to be told that. You're saying it's demoralising. I'm paying upwards of 50 quid to go watch my football team put in inept and dire performances every week. I'm entitled to boo, and it's demoralising for me. So they deserve to know that.
Yeah, fair enough. I remember saying about sort of clear the air meetings, and Gonzo referenced the 1990 World Cup, and it's it's not that's not the only time it's ever happened where there's been a bit of a moment where the squad, the management, whatever it is, has realised, right, we all need to get around the table, we all need to sit down, and we need to get whatever gripes, whatever issues that we've got going on out there in the open for everyone to know where everybody stands. We can dissect it, we can agree to disagree, whatever, and we can move on. Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong. 2 seasons ago, we were beaten at home to Newcastle, and I actually watched that in your old pub, the Bull, if you remember correctly. And we lost that 2-0 and looked absolutely pitiful. We then played the next game. We actually looked much better. We played away at Arsenal and we lost 2-1. And again, I think I was in your pub for this one. And my understanding is that I can't remember if it was in the wake of the Arsenal game or in the wake of the Newcastle game before the Arsenal game, but it was around that time. I remember a story that they basically all sat down and had a chat. And it was the narrative that I heard was that it was almost like the players turned around to David Moyes and said, we don't think that this is working. We'd like to try this. And if I remember rightly, I think that was what hastened we changed our shape at that point. We went to a 3-4-3 formation, and that seemed to work. I think it was after the Newcastle game. It was certainly around that time that there was, I remember a story going out that there was a sit-down meeting. Now, the only thing that I think that needs to happen again. I think that there's something clearly not right. And I also agree with Gonzo's video in that the point about players who will be probably taking to the pitch tomorrow, and I'll put the graphic up in a minute. The players that will probably be taking to the pitch tomorrow, who you could probably argue are our B team players, if you will, for want of a better expression. Okay, there are B team players, the likes of Flynn Downs, the likes of Harrison Ashby, the likes of Connor Coventry. That even if they took to the pitch tomorrow, played the game of their lives, and was man of the match by a country mile, they know that probably in their heart of hearts, David Moyes is still going to pick Vladimir Kufal. He's still going to pick Thomas Souček. He's still going to pick Jared Bowen. It don't matter what they do. It don't matter what they do. And how can you expect those B team players that when they take to the pitch in tomorrow's game, how can Duke, you wouldn't, if you knew that whatever you did wasn't good enough for the person above you in the management structure, if you knew that what they were telling you to do wasn't going to be good enough for you to remain in post, you're not going to give your best. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your occupation is. It's not.
No, you're not. You're not. And I think it's not even that, Rob. Like, it's the disjointedness of it all right now. You know, you've got players that we're looking to bring in, and you've got Moyes saying they're not ready. Basically what he's saying is they're not good enough right now. And that for me is awful. That's shocking from your manager that you brought in. I get not giving assurances on game time, but you're kind of already shooting yourself in the foot with that, because you're giving assurances to players like Souček, who has been poor. He has been poor. Let's not, in fact, I'll go as far as say he's been fucking awful. You players like, again, Lanzini, who hasn't been at his best or anywhere near capable. Jared Bowen. Vladimir Kufal. You know, I don't know if you've seen the video of Issa Diop doing the rounds this morning, Rob, for Crawley's second goal.
That was awful defending. I'm glad we got a shot of him.
Yeah, got a shot of him, £15 million, thank you very much. But there's my point. If these players, Moyes is turning around and saying, it's all right if he's shit, because although I've bought in replacements, you're still going to get picked. Just to go and what do you do? What do you do? Where's the point in all of this? Where does it change? You know, to go back and not touch on Happy. She might not like that, but to touch on her comment about if I was if I was booed and told that I'm crap, would it help me achieve more? No, but it would want to make me prove a point, Happy. It wouldn't make me want to achieve more. It would make me want to prove a point to people and say, you know what, screw you. This is what I can do. This is what I do. This here. You know, you've got to bear in mind that for about 3 years, I went through that at Green King, and Rob, you can attest to this because you had a first-hand seat for probably the last 3 years of my career there. Obviously, we had George working for me, so George had a first-hand. When you're told you're no good at your job, yeah, it does, but it also pushes you on to prove a point. Right now, I'm proving that point to Green King. My old pub is empty, my new pub is packed. Job done. I'm happier now than I was. But these players are paid an absolute fucking fortune to perform every single week, and they're not doing it. I get the off game. I get that. You know, I fully appreciate that there might be a bad game here or there. You can't tell me that Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, you know, some of the best players of our generation, if not the two best players of our generation, have had perfect 10 out of 10s every game that they've ever played. It doesn't happen. I get odd games, I get rough games here and there, but for Jared Bowen to have 2 Premier League games on the trot, a relatively decent game against a very second-rate, as I've said before, Vyborg side, and by that I mean if you look at the affiliation points that these countries get, they're nowhere near what the Premier League get in the grand scheme of things. This is a second-rate Vyborg side. This is a side that probably might do a job in League One or League Two. That might be being a bit harsh, but you get my point.
Maybe the
he scores a goal, and then he has an absolute fucking mare against Brighton again. It's all well and good. It's like me saying, okay, well, I'm going to perform against. I'm going to perform against Brighton against Brighton again. It's all well and good. It's like me saying, okay, well, I'm going to perform against. I'm going to perform against Brighton against Brighton again. It's all well and good. It's like me saying, okay, well, I'm going to perform against. the Dog and Ducks under-8s football team, and I'm going to score a hat-trick against the Dog and Ducks under-8, but when I come up against the Dog and Ducks first team, adults team, well, I'm going to disappear again. It's all well and good doing it against the teams that don't really matter. When you come up against the teams that matter and you're not performing, then there's problems. So for me, you know, these guys shouldn't be playing in games. They, you know, if you're not performing, if they're not performing, there's a problem, and that problem needs to be addressed, and that problem needs to be addressed by Mr. Moyes, be that today before they travel out to Vyborg, be that Friday or Saturday before they play against Villa. There needs to be a solution, and a solution quite quickly with what the problem is.
Okay, we're about to get into the starting 11 predictions. And guys in the live chat, there are 12 of you. Please get involved with this one. Give us your formation. Give us your personnel. Any tactical things, little tweaks that you like to see David Moyes, even if you don't think he would implement them in a million years. If you were the manager, let's just put you guys in the live chat in the hot seat right now. You've got the comment section. Personnel, formation, tactical tweaks that you would make if you was in charge. David Moyes probably won't make them, but it might just make for a little bit of an interesting conversation piece. Anyway, Duke, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Right, okay, that is... Oh, hang on, let me get rid of that banner. You can probably tell who's in goal. And it's not really a surprise. Now, as I say, this isn't me. This isn't my 11, ladies and gentlemen. My 11 would be quite a bit different. But I know that David Moyes isn't going to probably deviate from this all the time. He's got a hole in his arse. Anyway, Alphonse Areola in goal. That's pretty much a given, I think. It's fair to say. I think Ben Johnson's coming in at left back. I think he's going to start at left back. I think Cresswell's dropping down to the bench. I think Ogbonna's going to be the left-sided centre-back, and he will wear the armband. His partner will be Thilo Kehrer. Didn't exactly cover himself with glory last Sunday, it has to be said. And I think there's also a case that he was culpable for Vyborg's goal in the first leg last week. But I think he's going to get the nod. Harrison Ashby, in my opinion, should be our starting right back on Sunday. I'll say it right here, right now. I think he should start, but he probably won't. And it don't matter what he does tomorrow, he won't. But I think he should start tomorrow. Thomas Souček. Now, should he start on form? Absolutely not. But I think he probably will. Whether he starts on Sunday remains to be seen. He probably will. But I think he's going to be partnered by Flynn Downs. Now, Flynn Downs almost made it last week. He got a toe injury, and Connor Coventry came in. Now, Connor Coventry, I didn't think did too bad. But I think that maybe David Moyes needs to have a look at him. I have to be honest, I do think Flynn Downs kind of got thrown under the bus by some of those comments from David Moyes about Flynn Downs. I don't think that was required. I really don't. I actually think that was crap man management on David Moyes' part, just my opinion. In front of those two, you've got Cornet on the left, who I thought had a good stint in the first leg. Set up Gianluca Scamacca, who you can see there is the number 9 or number 7, whatever. Pablo Fornals will occupy the 10, I suspect. And again, I got a funny feeling he's going to go with Jared Bowen. Whether he should or shouldn't is another story. Talk to me, Duke. What are your thoughts?
No.
But you can see David Moyes picking that, couldn't you?
No, I can't. Do you want to know what I think he's doing tomorrow?
Go on.
I think he's going 5-2-3, 3-4-3, depending on how you want to work it. I think he's actually going to 3 at the back, 4 in midfield, 3 up front, or even 5 at the back, 2 in midfield and 3 up front, dependent on attacking and defensive formations. I have a feeling he's... Pardon me, is that because you drank all the booze, Kieran? Or is that, you mean like boo, that kind of thing? I actually think he's going to go Areola in goal. I think he's going to go Ogbonna, Kehrer. I actually think he's probably going to use Cresswell as the third centre-back.
Centre-back, okay.
Yeah. I then think he's going to go with Emerson Palmieri out as the left wing back.
I don't
I
think
think he's going to use
can
Ashby.
he?
Yeah, he can because he's registered beforehand.
Really?
Yeah, I think if he doesn't, he'll use Cornet. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I think he's available. Anyone want to check? Please let me know. I think he's available. Oh no, we can't, can he? Because it's the second leg. Shit. Anyway, doesn't matter. He'll go Cornet at left wing back. He'll go Ashby right wing back. He'll go Downs and Souček in the middle. I then think as your three up front, he'll go Skamaka, Benrahma, and Bowen. I think he'll go 3-4-3 or he'll go 5-2-3, depending on what way he wants to work it. I think what you'll see is the arrival of Emerson Palmieri is the beginning of a change of formation for us.
Well, Chris has almost gone with the same 11 that I've gone. He's gone Areola. It looks like he's gone Johnson at left back, Ogbonna, Kera, Ashby as the right back, Coventry and Downs as the double pivot, Cornet left, Antonio right, Benny as the 10, and Skamaka through the middle, 4-2-3-1. And he goes on to say he would like to see Antonio sitting behind Skamaka. Oh, interesting. Okay, so you'd actually go Benny on the right, would you? Or maybe Benny left, Cornet right, whichever. I mean, to be honest, wingers tend to switch anyway in the game. So, but that's an interesting shout, Duke. What do you think about that? Antonio off of Skamaka.
Listen, I'd love to see it. I just don't see Moyes doing it.
No, but that's not a bad shout, Chris, to be fair.
I mean, listen, there was a lot of talk, social media wise, of once Emerson came in, there'd be a significant change. We would probably resort to a three at the back, 3-4-3, 5-2-3, 5-3-2, 5-4-1, whatever, however he wants to work it. Because he'll have the ability with the guys at the back to be able to do it. You know what I mean? He'll have the Palmieri who's good at as a wing back. I personally think Ashby would be an outstanding wing back. I think he's got energy for days. So I can see us going 3-4-3, 5-2-3. Like I say, I've said that about 300 times now. I can see that if he doesn't do that tomorrow, he'll do that Sunday.
Ooh, interesting. I hope you're right. I mean, I think. Well, let's say I hope you're right. I hope something changes. I think something needs to change.
4-2-3-1 isn't working, Rob.
We've been worked out. We've been sussed out.
Yeah, we have.
It's the same old for the last 2 years.
Yep, and that's the problem. It's not like he's pulling any shocks anymore. At least now with Palmieri coming in, we can turn around and say, okay, well, we're going to go, 3-4-3. Shit, how are they going to set up? It might even be that you set up as a 3-4-3 with Palmieri as the left wing back, Ashby as the right wing back, your three centre. But then all of a sudden you turn around and go, okay, Palmieri, I want you to go play left wing. We revert back to 4-2-3-1 in game. In game tactics now become a whole different kettle of fish, Rob, because if you play Cresswell as the left centre back, all of a sudden you can just shift everyone over slightly, go 4 at the back. Palmieri goes to a left wing role as such, and you go back to your 4-2-3-1 in game. You listen. The opportunities now are going to be endless for us, and I think it's something that we've lacked in game tactically for a long time now.
So, in essence, I suppose, because I think you might have a point. Before we get onto the Vyborg team, let's just explore this. I think you might have a point. So, in essence, what you're saying is that Emerson Palmieri, you don't think is the heir apparent to Cresswell's throne, but more to Arthur Masuaku's. Because remember, when Moyes deployed the 3-5 at the back, whichever you wanted to call it, Arthur Masuaku was quite key. He became quite critical in that particular setup because he occupied the left wing back slot and Cresswell was the left centre back. If you remember, it wasn't Cresswell that was left wing back.
Listen, it doesn't have to just be Cresswell, as Kieran's just turned around and said there. What you can actually do is
that formation. That is what I would play.
Yeah, once you've got the players back, you have a Zuma that's left-footed. You know, you could go Kera, Ogbonna, Zuma, then you go Emerson Palmieri, but then you can also still drop that back because Kera can play right back as well, Rob. So you can say to Ashby, okay, well, we're pulling you off now, not in a good way. We're going to take you off. We're going to bring on Antonio. Everyone slots over one. So then you have Kera at left back. You have Dawson or Ogbonna at right centre back. You have Zuma. Then you bring Palmieri in at left back. And everything just kind of shifts over slightly. Do you see what I mean? So
Yeah.
our in-game tactics now, Palmieri is a left wing back by trade, can play left wing. Kera is a centre back by trade, but can play right back. So in theory, you don't have to make a defensive substitution. What you can do is you can turn around and say, okay, well, rather than taking off Ashby or taking off Kera and bringing on, it doesn't matter how you do it because you can say to Ashby, okay, drop in at right back. Palmieri drops in. You can take off Ogbonna, Kera, or Zuma for an attacking player, or you could take off Ashby, for an attacking player. It doesn't have to be defence for defence. There's now ways where we're strengthening not just the first team, but we're also strengthening the bench now. It gives us, we hopefully, fingers crossed, we will never see two goalkeepers on the bench again because I hate that.
Oh, don't bet against it, Duke. We've seen it many times.
I
mate,
said hopefully we won't.
No, it'll happen. It'll happen. It will be you're on the bench tomorrow. It will be Fabianski and it will be Randolph. You know it. Just for the sheer
shits and gigs.
of it. Yeah, shits and giggles. The shithousery. Okay, for those that are interested, this is the 11 that I suspect will take to the park tomorrow for Vyborg. I won't dwell on it too much because it's largely the same 11 that we saw at London Stadium last week, but except for two members of the team, the starting 11, well, there was the right back who played last week was a gentleman by the name of Daniel Ayembe. Now, if you remember rightly, he actually came off in the first leg, and I suspect that the guy who deputised for him, they played it at the weekend. They lost 1-0 at Randers in the Danish Superliga, and the gentleman that was playing at right back in that particular fixture was Anton Guy, Danish player, as I suspect that he will remain at right back. The other addition to the starting 11 from the game the other week is the guy on the right of the front three, Saeed, who was one of the two players that were unfortunate, not beneficiaries. What's the opposite of a beneficiary? Whatever. They had the paperwork issue. But obviously that's not going to be the case in the country in which he resides, Denmark. He's a Nigerian player, and I suspect he will be on the right of Vyborg's attacking front three. But other than that, it's as you were at London Stadium last week. Was there, the goal, here's where I'm at with this. The goal last week has kind of kept this tie on simmer. If
I blame Moyes for that.
3-0, yeah, I do as well.
Because he made the substitutions when we were just bang after we scored. I blame him for that. That was not great in-game tactical management, Rob. In-game, it's stupid. But what he's done is he's left that door. It's not wide open, not in the slightest. And I still would like to think we have enough quality to see this through, be it a 2-1 win, be it a 2-0 win, be it a 1-0 win. I still think we've got enough quality to see us through to go and do. Now, that being said, the door's ajar. That one goal is now door ajar for them. And if they put enough pressure behind that door will start to open. Okay.
They're like the door-to-door salesman. They've put their foot in the door just as you were about to slam it shut.
See, I was actually going to go zombie apocalypse or something out of, Doom or something when these monsters are trying to get through the door. Even the Velociraptors in Jurassic Park, they know how to open that door, Rob. They're clever.
I thought you was going to say Jehovah's Witness, but
Hey, listen, I'm not making this about a religious thing, but you're not wrong. You know,
he does
that
when
door
we're
is
not
open.
recording.
Yeah, that door is open. If they get the first goal tomorrow, throw your whole fucking game plan out the window.
Especially if it's early, especially if it's in that second minute.
Even within the first 15 minutes, Rob, if they get that first goal, throw your game plan out the window. We're going to have to do something else because they're there and they want. Yeah, so we're going to have to play very, very carefully. So we need to turn up,
act, doesn't it? Because of the way we are.
We've got to come. Yeah, we've got to turn up. Got to turn up, switched on, and make sure that our focus and our concentration is there. Because can you fucking imagine if this ends up and we end up going out tomorrow because we don't turn up switched on? Can you imagine? Can you imagine having to do a video on Friday to say that we've gone out of the Europa Conference League at the playoff stage to Vyborg of Denmark?
To be honest, I don't think it even needs to be that we go out, Duke. I mean, even if we lost 1-0 on the night or 2-1 on the night.
Well, yeah, there's that.
We got through on the aggregate score, but we lost this leg of it. And then we've got Villa, and let's just make a little hypothetical up. We go through, but we lose 1-0 and we look absolute dog shit. The knives are going to be sharpened for David Moyes. And
listen, those knives are almost out already.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then the game against Villa becomes all important. If he comes through against Villa and we don't see some sort of turnaround in performance, we don't see some sort of fire in the belly. And like I say, I kind of had a little bit of a worry about this, and we spoke about it after the City game. And I know there was the sort of like the argument was had about it's Man City, but I just sat there, as I said at the time, and said, I'm watching a team that 2 months ago played exactly the same 11, more or less, and it was exactly the same 11 we put out, more or less, and they didn't even look like they were trying, and that was the alarm to me. It wasn't the result at the time, and here we are now, Forest game, the Vyborg first leg, Brighton, and I'm now looking and going, oh dear. Something needs to change. Something ain't right.
No, but listen. I think it will, because it has to. If it didn't have to, it wouldn't. I know that sounds really stupid, but if there wasn't all of this pressure from the fan base, from the press, probably even from above right now for Moyes, he wouldn't be making changes, Rob. He wouldn't be making a difference to his squad. Palmieri coming in makes a bit of a difference for us. I think it's good. I do still think. Can I just touch on?
You like
touching Are Chelsea trying to help Frank Lampard out at Everton? In what world, what planet, what walk of life is Anthony Gordon worth 60 million quid?
Because he's English.
Couldn't give a shit. What's that make Declan Rice? Declan Rice is 5 times the player Anthony Gordon is. Maybe not right now.
I'm not disputing that, but you know full well that when a Premier League team goes after an English national, there's an English tax. Everybody knows that. I'm not saying it's right, but everybody knows that's what happens.
Yeah, I don't see where that sort of money comes from, Rob, for a player like him.
I agree with that point about we look like we're following shadows. This is the thing that concerned me about the City game. In the previous City game, when we got the 2-2 draw, we was chasing, we was harassing, we was harrying, we was pressing, we was energetic. And fast forward to the game, first day of the season, we was the complete reverse of that. And that was what worried me. And like I say, I was worried at the time, but I was willing to kind of go, yeah, okay, maybe the weather, maybe it's City, blah, blah, blah. But I was still concerned. And like I say, now we're where we are. And I do, looking back now, think fundamentally something wasn't right. Something still isn't right. And it needs fixing pretty bloody quickly, let me tell you. Because this season, I'm not saying relegation. I'm not saying that. What I am saying, though, is that whether you like it or not, our expectations as a supporter base, 6th place finish, getting into Europe for the Europa League, 7th place finish, semi-finals of the Europa League, getting into the conference. Our expectation levels have now been risen. That's the price of success, ladies and gentlemen. We're a team that usually sort of like bobs around mid-table, might have the odd cup run, has the odd relegation battle, sometimes drops down, usually comes straight back up. That's West Ham, generally speaking, over the years that I've been supporting. And you're nodding your head. You're in agreement with me, Duke. That's West Ham by and large. We don't expect to finish top 6. We don't expect to qualify for Europe. We certainly don't expect to get to a semi-final of Europe. But now we're in a position, because we've had 2 consecutive seasons, which we've never had that before in our entire history. 2 top 7 finishes back to back. We've never had 2 European qualifications back to back via our league placing. So our expectations have raised. And now we've all gone into this season going, right, we should be looking to win the Conference League. And we should be, if we won the Conference League, I think most fans would probably accept top 8, I would suggest, if we won the Conference League. Now, we're in a spot right now, Jesus Christ, 8th? We'd be lucky to finish top half at this rate.
Yeah, that's the concern. But that being said, let's be honest. Last season, and I personally think we had a better squad of players a better unity last season of players. Arsenal started the first 3 games without a win and were bottom of the league, Rob, and went on to finish 5th.
They did.
I'm
they
not.
had a deeper squad, I would argue.
Hey, listen, I'm not. I'm also not saying that we're going to. What I will say is let's not fall prey right now to the whole doom and gloom. Let's think logically. Let's listen. We're not, especially us. Okay, you and me here. We're not Arsenal fan TV with regard to that kind of mind-blowing meltdown that's been known to be had. And I'm not saying that we're going to go anywhere near that. What I'm saying is we just need to be mindful that it is only 3 games. Yeah, it's not been. There's another 3 league games, like I say, Chelsea, Villa, Chelsea, Spurs. Then we can start maybe thinking, shit. Right now, it doesn't need to be, and I have to say, I'm not happy with what I've seen so far. I am concerned with what we've seen so far in regards to the levels of effort by some players in matches. That needs to change. That should have been addressed after the City game. Looked like it was, because I personally felt we could have quite easily won. But it was a different day, a little bit of lady luck, different score against Forest. It's just one of them. But that being said, we were still played off the park at points. Brighton, we didn't even look like we turned up. So we need to. There needs to be some sort of address. If there's an address, I can see things coming different. You only have to look at Arteta with Arsenal last season. There was problems. They were addressed. Things changed. So we need to get our finger out of our arses. We need to start playing some football. It starts tomorrow night against Vyborg, which, by the way, there were some questions asked in our group chat. The Vyborg game is on Premier Sports. It's not on BT Sports tomorrow. It's not on free to air. It's
there an
another
establishment
subscription, sir.
somewhere in the Lewisham area?
There is an establishment in this lovely Lewisham area that has Premier Sports. We'll be playing it for the 6 o'clock kickoff. What I will say to you,
Does it look like
wonderful
that?
people, it looks
Kind
very
of.
much like that. Slightly different now because it's been painted, and new flowers. What I will say is I will only be available until 15 minutes into the second half, Rob.
Why is that?
I'll tell you. Well,
Why's
we
that?
have a bit of a video tomorrow, sir,
Do we?
that kicks off at 7:30 with
Yeah.
a fantastic gentleman, that
Yeah.
beautiful man there, Stuart Slater. We have our live Q&A with Mr. Slater himself.
We do.
If you've got some questions, please drop them in this in this video. Drop them in the comments underneath. If you've got any questions, go over to on the bottom. Yeah, I know what you're going to say.
May I slightly contradict you?
Go on then.
Rather than putting them on here and then we lose them, probably the best thing to do, because the stream's already been set up on YouTube. So if you just type in Forge from Iron and you'll find our channel, you should find the Stuart Slater live Q&A there. And in the comment section, I would put them in the comment section there. That would be the better place.
That would be better. You are right.
Rather than
if not, you've got my name at the bottom there at Hammersdo. You've got Gates's at Forge Talked Out. You can ping them over to us in a private message on our Twitter accounts.
Absolutely.
You can tweet them to us directly if you feel it necessary. You can put them in if you're on the Facebook group as well. You can drop them on Facebook or even directly message me and Rob, and we will endeavour to ask as many questions of Stuart Slater tomorrow. I, for one, very excited to sit down and actually have a one-on-one with. I mean, I've had a one-on-one actually in the flesh with one of my boyhood heroes, I've got to say. So I am really looking forward to doing the interview tomorrow. I didn't manage to get myself a BAC West Ham shirt, which is quite disappointing, especially the Bookster one. Didn't get one yesterday or this week, so I'm going to have to do it in another, maybe even my Forge shirt. We'll see. But yeah, looking forward to that one. And then next week, Rob, what else have we got?
Next week, what else have we got? Well, could you possibly be talking about a Q&A with Mr. Tony Carr, legend of West Ham? Now, I happen to be of the opinion that the word legend is bandied around with gay abandon. It is thrown around like it is going out of fashion to people, in my view, that quite frankly haven't earned that tag. Maybe they should probably be described as icons or cult heroes, but not legends. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you know stuff about West Ham, this gentleman is a West Ham legend. Legend. He is a legend at West Ham. He was at West Ham for over 40 years. He started as a part-time scout. I'm actually reading his book, and he's going to be talking about his book when he comes on and giving it a bit of a plug. But let me tell you guys, any of you guys that haven't read this book, and Duke's got a copy of it as well, it's really good. Really, really good. Goes into a lot of detail about some of the stuff that went on, the characters that he come across, different situations. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to sitting down with Mr. Tony Carr, who's very kindly agreed to come on the channel and give us his time, which, listen, Stuart Slater as well, and anybody that at any point in the future that's connected to West Ham says, we'll sit down with you, we'll have a Q&A, we'll interact with your channel. I completely appreciate these guys giving up their time for free. Let me make that perfectly clear. We don't go to these people and say, hey, we'll give you a few bob, come on our channel. It's literally just out of the goodness of their heart, and yeah, they've done us a good turn, so we appreciate their time. Duke, back on to matters about this game against Vyborg, just before we get on to score predictions. For a little bit of housekeeping, if you want to know who the officials are, I've never heard of any of them, but they are: the referee is Harold Leshner. The assistant referees are Andreas Heidenreich. He used to be a wrestler, didn't he? And Maximilian Kolbich. And the fourth official is Marcus Hammertier. And they are all from Austria, which is where Arnold Schwarzenegger was from, wasn't it?
It was. So he's born. That's why he can't be president of America.
time is of the essence, Mr. Duke.
It is.
I am going to press you. Score prediction. And guys in the live chat, please get involved with this as well. Duke, talk to me. How's it going to go?
It all depends on that first goal, Rob. It really does. If Vyborg, especially in that first 15 minutes, if Vyborg, yes, Kieran and Adolf, if Vyborg, that's why he could be president of America either. If Vyborg get that opening goal inside the 15-minute mark, Rob, we could see ourselves in for a really difficult time. I think we've got the quality. If everyone turns up and everyone plays, I can see us picking up a 2-0 win, to be honest with you, but we have to score first.
Yeah, I am going to go with a 2-0 victory. I think it might be quite stodgy. I don't think it's going to be a free-flowing performance. But no. I personally, I'm going to lay my cards on the table. I am a Harrison Ashby fan. I think he should be our starting right back, as I said earlier. If he starts tomorrow, I want to see him putting in a performance that everybody, including David Moyes, looks at and goes, "Shit, I've got to play him on against Aston Villa," because the messaging that it would send out. And again, I referenced Gonzo's video, which I agreed with. Almost entirely everything, apart from something he might have cocked up at the beginning of the video. If you were paying attention.
Definitely. I cocked that up as well. So let's leave that alone. Let's leave the boy alone.
I sent a message and it was like, look, don't worry about it. It happens. But the basic point he made was correct. The messaging from David Moyes is, you guys, it doesn't matter how well you play, you're not getting in the team. You guys, it doesn't matter how badly you play, you are in the team. That's completely wrong for me. It needs to be, right, go out, put in a performance, you've got the shirt, and it's yours until your performance levels drops to the point where I have to take it off you and give it to someone else. And that's not the message that's going out to
That's not what we're getting. No.
But there you go. I'm going 2-0, but I want to see a good performance from certain players that puts pressure on David Moyes to keep them in the squad. Oh, I can hear me. That's weird. That's better. I can't hear me now. That was strange. Anyway, that's just my thoughts on it. Right, so Duke, before we wrap it to a close, my friend, because I know you've got a dash off, let's just get the housekeeping out the way really quickly. Please don't forget to donate to the Iron Supporting Food Banks charity. I did put the link in the chat a little bit earlier. I should do that momentarily again. This is a charity that operates in the Newham Borough area and is putting food on the plates of families that are struggling in our community. So please, guys, if you can go on the Just Giving link that I've just put in the live chat and put a couple of bob in the tin, you'd be doing so much the better for our local people in the Newham Borough area. And please don't forget, as it says there, to like, comment on and share the stream to your social media platforms, subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for alerts on new content. As always, we thank you very much indeed for your support in this matter. Duke, what are we, my friend?
West Ham are micro everywhere we go.
You're still going with micro. You've not.
I am until tomorrow morning.
How about medium?
No, it's still micro until tomorrow night.
Okay.
Then it might be medium after that.
We might graduate to medium afterwards, but there you go.
We might.
Come on, you Irons.